Thanks again, everyone, for being here today. I am Carly. I am the manager here at Willow Scientific and Willow Industries. I'm here to present our newest technology, the amazing Halo system designed for the new era of terpene infusion. So the Halo was invented to increase the efficiency and efficacy of terpene infusion. This was engineered in partnership with pioneer Abstrax Technology, and we really created this to address key challenges of current terpene infusion methods that we've seen throughout the industry. We are more recognized as a decontamination technology company, but as a company that was really into building bigger, better, and badder technologies. Abstrax reaching out to us was incredible, requesting for us to work with them to create the newest, biggest, baddest terpene infusion technology. So with my experience in cannabis, I've had about 8 years, both within cannabis labs as well as with Willow Industries, seeing a variety of different cannabis cultivations as well as manufacturing and processes, and really saw quite a variety of terpene infusion processes. Everyone seemed to have their own flavor, pun intended, as well as their own method of applying these aromas, flavors, and terpenes to their product. With this knowledge, we came together to create the Halo system, which really is minimal effort, able to save lots of time and labor spent on what we've seen in the industry currently, which was a much more manual application. We also have seen through our R&D that I'll get into just a little bit later, really consistent results. From my lab history, I understand that homogenization is very, very important, especially when we're talking about pre-rolls. And we wanted to standardize the infusion process to ensure uniform coverage on every batch. We understand that this is really important for GMP and other processes that are required around the country. Additionally, we saw this as being the first real controlled environment. You're going to see in a little video a bit later that you're going to load your product into the top drum and then close it off. And this ensures that there is no cross-contamination with the environment and vice versa, that there is no terpenes that are going to be contaminating the environment in which the user is in. This enclosed application system is very controlled as well as easily to be cleaned. In the system, we have a bottle which you're going to put your terpenes in and tubes which are going to aerosolize the liquid. This is a fully closed loop system. So this ensures optimal distribution and ensures that there's no waste associated with many of the open air applications that we had seen people using or within other technologies. Additionally, we've been working with Abstrax to advance our software, which allows you to input your terpene type and batch details so you can track your process and track your batch for both precision, accuracy, and tracking. This is important, again, for a lot of the GMP processes, and we really understand that as we innovate technology, we need to make sure that we're looking in this forward direction. So within the system, we say we have about a 25-pound capacity in this drum. Again, this is very dependent on cannabis type. We both have a ground and a full bud system. And this as ground flower is about 12 gallons of volume. There's a lot of, weight, density equation here, but we can say about 25 pounds and 12 gallons of ground flower. And this equates to over 11,000 pre-rolls within one run. This one run takes less than 30 minutes. This also has a cleaning cycle as well. So if you are going to be changing terpenes from batch to batch, you might want to run that cleaning cycle in between. But if you're going from one orange sherbet batch to another 25-pound batch, you can just continue and run the next terpene in that same bottle without a cleaning cycle necessary. The dimensions there are pretty, I'd say, standard to about the size of a dishwasher, a little bit taller, maybe something on top of your dishwasher. That halo angle is a little bit above that, kind of at, honestly, I'm a 5'4" woman, about my height to my chest, so that it's actually very easy for me to utilize this machine. It's really awesome because I'm able to be part of the R&D team, which is great. So I can see if an average, stocky height woman can lift or maneuver these devices, which is really awesome to see that I, as one person, can utilize this machine by myself. Additionally, power is 110 VAC, 50 to 60 hertz, 15 amps. We can also add and adjust based on the needs of the country that you're in. We do understand that there could be some additional items necessary in your package. And the weight of this is 300 pounds. You can also see on the bottom that there are rollers. Again, this is awesome. Someone like myself can easily push this around the facility. It is very easy to use and able to be moved through doors, which is really awesome. So I am going to get into a small video so you guys can see it in action.
Carly, I have to know, do you get the fragrance once you open it up?
Yeah, so what's really awesome is you certainly get the fragrance once you open it up, but no fragrance before that. And that is because of that closed loop system. We ensure that you have a tight seal around that drum so you guys aren't losing any terpenes to the air. Now, as you mentioned, there are going to be some VOCs kind of in that headspace of the drum. So when you first open it up, any of those terpenes that were kind of in that space are going to come out. But we really are, and I'll kind of get into the data in just a second, getting amazing efficiency. We're seeing that a huge majority, almost 90 plus percent of what we are adding to the product is making it on that product, not on the sides of the walls and not back aerosolized. Thanks for the question, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did we get here? We started with the machine. As an equipment manufacturer, we started our R&D by building. We began with ground flour and quickly added whole flour option based on the feedback by Abstrax and just our internal R&D lab here. And started with our first ground and whole bud experiment. We have a variety of what we grade. Ground is often graded lower than our whole buds that we grade higher. And so you'll see that there. Again, that does not mean this was like badly ground, but just we have a grading system here at Willow to determine our efficacy. So in this first experiment, we used water to assess the moisture content, allowing us to test various motor speeds and equipment angles. So that's what you see here with the first, second, and third, fourth bar. We're getting closer and closer efficiency versus what we were expecting, and got really all the way down to 0.08% in our ground. So almost precisely what we put in all landed as what we expected. Similarly, with the 3 experiments on the right for ground, for grade A whole bud, We had, our first angle, not so great. We were getting only 24 out of the 29% that we were expecting. And as we increased angle, motor speed, and just kind of played around with this, we were able to determine the right combination for the best efficacy of both ground and whole buds. Again, this was using water. Terpenes are, expensive. So while we were doing this, we were using moisture content as our R&D comparison. After this, in partnership with Abstract, we then swapped to terpenes and started stress testing the device. You can see here, we had our moisture content efficiency compared to our terpene efficiency, getting that terpene efficiency up to 93% in ground flower and 87% in that grade A whole bud. Again, this was based on our own terpene testing, and because we are sending to an outside lab, we don't have as precise testing as we do over at Abstract, so you'll see a little bit more comparison. They utilize aroma as their quantitative measure versus just a terpene percent, which really encompasses all of the different varieties of terpenes. This was additionally carried out at our lab here at Willow, utilizing a variety of terpenes, both native and non-native cannabis derived. Additionally, addressing the efficacy of terpene infusion in relationship to product mass. Is all of the terpenes that we are adding getting onto that product? Here we had an orange apricot, which is part of their native series, and a marshmallow, which is a bit more outside of the cannabis spectrum. And we were able to get an overall increasing mass of terpenes by 2.7%. Again, here you'll see the marshmallow seems to be a little bit less, but this is only because we were not able to quantify using the average HPLC panel for terpenes, all these extra kind of marshmallow flavors and aromas that they're able to quantify. So once our first device was complete and we had this fully functioning unit, we shipped it to Abstract so they could mirror our trial or determine if they could mirror our trial and see the same efficacy. In this experiment, they are utilizing 3 different volumes of the native series natural terpene blends, and we're able to utilize and evaluate the quantity and quality of various concentrations based on aroma. And this is a much more holistic view of terpenes and the overall effect that these additions are going to give to your product. You can also see here the weight of the terpene sprayed, the amount of time that we had to spray it. And you can see here, even with over 200 grams of terpenes being added, this runtime of the device is under 5 minutes. So this is a very quick, very effective process of atomizing terpenes to apply to ground and whole flower.